Good afternoon. Here we are at Solar again. We're over in the fields where we're going to start our vineyards. We tried to do some soil samples a little earlier this year, but the ground was frozen, and today looks like a perfect day for us to be out here to do these soil samples. So we're looking at getting our soil samples for our top layer and for our deeper layers like 12 to 16, 12 to 14 inches, ideal growing for our grapes and our raspberries. So one of the first things that we do is we find a spot throughout our field, and then what we'll do is we'll clear the leaves and all our basically our top debris, so we don't have much organic matter into our probing stick as we do it. We use a probing stick here. We can probe down to 16 inches deep with it if we have to. We have it marked off at 6 and at 12. So what we'll do is we'll do our probe to see how far down we can do it. And it's recommended when you do soil samples is if you have like an acre of property to try and get 12 or 14 spots throughout that acre samples. And what we'll do is once we get the sample into our tube, we'll dump it into a box here because it's going to be a little wet. And after we have all 12 samples taken, we take it and we mix it into our box. So that all the content is actually broken down, and we pick out any debris that we can, and that way if our field right here might be rich in something, it might be lacking over there, but it would give us a general overall analysis of what we have to do across the whole acre. And there are a lot of soil sample people out there that actually do your analysis for you. You can use your local ag centers, you can use professional sampling companies that are advertised online. We, however, we work with Whitetail Institute where we send our soil to them, and they give us analysis what we have to do as far as growing different types of their product, as well as it helps us defer where our pHs and stuff are, our limes need it, and nitrogen and stuff like that there throughout our fields like this. So I guess what we're going to do is probably take our first soil sample here to see how soft our soil really is. And as you can see, as we push down, the soil keeps coming up through the tube. And we can get ourselves all the way down to a 16-inch mark there. So if you look at our soil here, you'll be able to see it's a little bit more orange than it is brown. This here base soil is a lot less clay loomy than what our bottom layer of soil is. So our first 6 to 10 inches of soil is actually really good topsoil, and as we go down from there, it's going to be a lot of clay loam, which there's no problem with that, because as we disc this and farm it, it's going to put some of this natural base back down into there. But the only thing that a clay loam soil will actually do for you is actually hold more moisture than what you really want to be held. So what we'll do when we put our grapes in, once we start digging their holes, if we find that we have a lot of clay loam soil like this, we'll start adding organic base in with it, straw, peat, leaves, etc. Forest leaves are one of the best things to add in with your grapes if you can mix it with your soil. But we'll go from there and see what we have. So what we do when we get to this point is we just start emptying our probes into our box so we can mix it. But what we do is we try and get all the way down to the 16-inch level so we can get a true and accurate reading of what we really have to do for the root systems of the grapes. Maybe not in the very beginning, but it helps with us with our preparation in our holes, so we know what to actually mix into our soils when we start digging our holes out. Most of the time these here just push out very easily with your finger and stuff, but this being a little bit wet here today, it's a little bit difficult, but it's no problem that we can't get it out of here to utilize it. And what we'll do eventually later on is we'll go through and we'll come up and do this here across our field here, basically 10 to 12 times. And then, like I said, we'll put our soil into our boxes and break it down. And if you look at this here soil, you'll be able to see how there is some type of mineral into that soil where it's really a light color orange. What that could be is a piece of metal, or it could be iron that's into the soil. but it's basically laying inside of your clay loam base at the very bottom. So we have to watch that, and you don't want to take it and throw this out. You want to leave this into your soil sample, so when they give you your reading, it's a true reading, that you know that you have a high content of iron or something into your soil that has to really be adjusted. And they'll give you a reading of your top 6 to 8 inches and bottom down through. If you do a cylinder probe, which we will be doing eventually, but not at our first 2 years. A cylinder probe would just be that same probe there, type of tool, but you push a cylinder out into the unit, which is plastic, and they'll be able to take that glass cylinder tube and actually give you a visual and then break it down as far as inch to inch to inch to inch till they get to the very bottom layer. And it's very beneficial of learning how to take your soil samples for the different varieties of plants that you really want to be growing.